quick video, just ad-libbing this. First, a little over 30 days in remote sales. So I joined the RSA 18th of July, something like that. But my first full month in like a setting role, not even a full month, sorry, I joined like second week of August. But anyway, my experience. So yeah, first week, joined the RSA. I was working my full-time job, 4 days a week though, while studying all like the RSA course content, things like that, and implementing it as rapidly as I could. Yeah, that was fun. Like, wake up early in the morning, get a bit of study in, go to work, get home, get more study in, doing interviews after work, literally in the office as well sometimes. So that was a good time. You know, I'd say there were two kind of key points where I was like, fuck, this is kind of heavy, and really getting started. So first of all was naturally like the investment into myself. I'd bought a e-commerce like dropshipping program before, but I split it with a friend and it wasn't that expensive. I think it was like $1,500 each or $1,200 each, something like that. So this was like pretty massive amount. I actually got a credit card. I found a credit card with 9 months interest free. So I'm in like $5,000 in credit card debt right now, but it's all good. So that was one. That was a bit scary. Second one was quitting my job, or just handing in the notice rather. That was like, I was like, fuck, like, yeah, I gotta actually land a role right now, a remote sales role, and start making money, because now pretty soon I'm gonna have no money coming in. I had some savings, but not like that much. So that was a big one. That really hit me like a truck. But at that point, I'd pretty much had a few offers, so it wasn't like a massive risk. And then, yeah, it was really good. Like, I just implemented everything in the course to like an autistic level. So took just insane notes. Well, not even that insane in my opinion, but very detailed notes on all the course content. Asked my mentor lots of questions whenever I had one. Joined all the group training sessions. Just doing what's like necessary, really. And I think having a bit of sales experience from my like corporate job helped with landing roles a little bit. But I think the biggest thing was just kind of how I showed up on the Zoom calls and the meetings and things. Did my due diligence, prepared, answers to questions, prepared questions to ask them. And that put me in the opportunity to have a few opportunities, or put me in the place to have a few opportunities to pick from in terms of remote sales roles. So there's a big toss up between the one that I went with and another one, which is a very good offer, the one that I didn't go with. Super good training, from what I've heard from a bunch of people, like top-notch training. Very good opportunity, but the money wasn't necessarily there, and I wasn't sure how much money I could make from it. So I decided to go with this other offer where it was still like a bit iffy about the money in a way, but it had a base, which is nice. It does have a base salary or retainer, you could call it, which is cool. And I just really vibed well with the sales manager, and he's actually the co-founder as well of the company. And yeah, super blessed to have picked that option, and have those, couple options to pick from. So yeah, I've had literally like daily training with the sales manager, and then since with the closer on that, on this account as well. And the closer's an absolute beast. He's making like $50,000 a month. Shout out Chase Cookson, the boy. So yeah, getting like just insane training. I just feel like I've leveled up so much since I started. Like, when I first started, I was just fucking dog shit, as most people would be. But actually at a decent level now as far as setting goes. And I just can see myself in, 6 months' time being an absolute weapon of a setter, top sort of 1% as far as setters go. And then it'll be the next challenge of closing. But anyway, to reflect on the month, very good. Lots of training, lots of hard work. There was a bit of a layover between like ramping and training, getting caught up on product knowledge, especially because it's a real estate offer. So a decent amount of things to learn. And so I was doing that while I was still at my job. So that was good hard work. What else? Yeah, and then I started dialing. That was a little bit nerve-wracking, but very, very exciting because I knew this is it. Like, this is a new frontier, you could say. And also on the precipice of like everything that all the goals I've set, essentially. Like, I still haven't reached them, but it's like this is the first big step. I was gonna say something else. But yeah, just really cool. Learning heaps. Finished the month out at $3,000, so $2,500 in base, plus I only closed one deal because the deal cycles are quite long. There was a second one, but he hasn't officially signed the agreement yet, and so I don't get paid until they sign the agreement. So hopefully he signs in September and he doesn't pull out, but we'll see. So yeah, big things for September. Company's growing massively, so lots of opportunity to grow, and just getting started. And a big thing was it's just the precipice. It's the breakthrough point, you could say, of a lot of these goals that I want to hit. And they happen a lot sooner than I expected. So, from joining the mentorship to actually landing a role, I think was under 14 days. And then from joining the mentorship to starting the role would have been like 2.5 weeks or something. So from joining the mentorship to making my first few $1,000s in internet money in just a little over a month is pretty cool. And it's just going to be exponential from here. So it's pretty sick. Very cool new chapter of my life. Just a little rant, just a little ramble right now. But that about sums it up. I'd say biggest thing that kind of made the difference was, in terms of my success so far, is going all in. So probably should have started with this, but anyway, for some context, I'd actually been doing e-commerce for like almost 3 years with a friend of mine. We'd be so on off. Like, we'd go on holiday and then just it'd fall off, or go back to uni and it would fall off. And this time around, I was like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm sick of spending money on ads and it's just not working. Like, it's just stupid. So let me finish out this uni semester and then go from there. And then I was like, I'll just defer a semester and either go all in on e-com or high ticket sales. I wasn't quite sure. And then I was on a trip to the Philippines just for a week, but I DM'd this guy on Instagram who is like a multi-millionaire, and I knew he made his first money in high ticket sales. So I was like, you know what? I'll DM this guy, see if he wants to grab lunch. And I was very fortunate that he sat down with me for like a couple hours. Great conversation. Taught me a lot about sales and a few other different things. But ultimately, the biggest thing he said to me was like, you can make $20K a month USD within 18 months from starting high ticket sales. Not that it happens to everyone, but it's possible. So it's like, you either start now or you wait to finish your uni degree, which I had another like 1.5 or 2 years on. And then it's another 18 months from there. So it's like, would you rather be making 20 grand a month in 18 months or in 36 months? The answer is pretty fucking simple. So he really just crushed a lot of my limiting beliefs, which is awesome. So I was like, fuck it. So I dropped out of uni. I officially deferred, but I'm not going back, honestly. And I was like, yeah, just go all in on this. And in all that time of doing e-commerce inconsistently, just fucking losing a fuck ton of money, like making some sales, but overall losing money, to then going all in on this and making a few grand within like a month. It's pretty cool. And it just goes to show that it's, if you've read Think and Grow Rich, there's a quote from Napoleon Hill. It goes something like, if a man is willing to stake his entire future on one turn of the wheel, then he's sure to win. And it's true. And I think in like a mystic, spiritual or religious sense, God or the universe, whatever, is kind of rewarding you for your dedication. It's like Andrew Tate said, if you lent someone a Ferrari, or if you just gave someone a Ferrari, and they went and they fucking scratched it up, crashed into it, didn't clean it, and just didn't give a shit about it, you'd be like, oh, why the fuck did I give this guy a Ferrari? But if you give him a Toyota Corolla and he cleans it, he maintains it, it's like the nicest Toyota Corolla you've ever seen. You might think like, you know what, I'll give this guy a Mustang next or something, and then I'll give him a Ferrari. So if you're putting in the work, you get rewarded. And in another sense, when you're doing uni and you're doing online business, you're trying to see your friends, go traveling, whatever, your mind is scattered in all these different places. But when you go all in on something, it's like momentum. And it's like this fire of burning desire builds up in you. Again, Napoleon Hill talks about it in Think and Grow Rich, not to harp on it. A lot of good books out there. But the burning desire that builds up in your mind is just rocket fuel. You don't have to rely on motivation, and you don't even have to rely on discipline too much. Like, there are those days, I had one today, honestly. You're feeling a bit off, but you just got to push through it. Like, yes, that's a thing, and it does require like a decent amount of self-discipline, or certainly a lot more than the average person has. But it's really, once you have an idea and you can see it in your head, and that's all you're thinking about all the time, it becomes a lot easier to just do the work required, because you know that it's working. You know, you're stepping towards your goals. And it's very hard to get that when you're not all in on something and your brain's all over the shop. So I think that was the biggest lever that I pulled, was just saying like, you know what, make the decision, let me invest in myself, and let me do this, and let me give it a really good crack and see how it goes. And it's paying off so far. Like, couldn't be happier with the start I've had. So just a little random video I thought I'd make. I know I want to make a YouTube like better someday. And I was like, you know what? The path illuminates as you walk it. I'd actually been procrastinating making a little video for a while. I've actually shot a couple, but they sucked. So yeah, just thought I'd make this, get started on the YouTube game, and maybe I'll try and do once a week. I gotta set a goal for myself. But anyway, otherwise, if you're thinking of doing high ticket sales or whatever online money making thing you think of doing, just fucking go for it, and just go for it. Go all in. It's well worth it.